Good evening. I'd like to call a meeting to order. Please have the roll call. Here.
Wertz.
Here.
Trent. Here. Griffin. Ware.
Here.
Campbell. Here. Smith-Williams. Eilerman. Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now is the time for public comment. Public comments limited to 3 minutes to address the board. Do I have anybody wishing to make a public comment? Thank you. Donna Ware will now take the oath of office.
I, Donna Ware, having been duly elected to the office of member of the Board of Trustees of Community College District Number 536, Madison, Macoupin, Jersey, Calhoun, Greene, Morgan, and Scott Counties, State of Illinois, aforesaid, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the State of Illinois and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Trustees according to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Donna. Welcome back.
Thank you. All right, annual cultural survey results.
Yeah, so just want to spend a couple of minutes here to highlight our annual team survey. So just as a reiteration, so we started this survey 3 years ago. The survey was an outcome and a goal, essentially, of discussions around our key direction 3, which is fundamentally focused on building and strengthening culture on campus. So the results you'll see, and they've been in the board book, sort of reflect our movement over the last 3 years. A couple of highlighted things I want to focus on as we've continued to improve on the respondent numbers. So this 246 team members versus last year's 197. Still a heck of a lot of work to do here since we have 548 team members, both full and part-time. A majority of our team members are part-time. This includes our adjunct faculty, part-time instructors that teach in programs like College for Life, et cetera. So continuing to find ways to encourage that. A team member today on our all-team meeting where we went through the results suggested we offer 548 $100 gift cards, and we would get perfect, results, right? But again, we're trying to improve team member participation, and we'll keep moving that needle. A couple of things on the design. This is 34 multiple choice items are addressed in 5 dimensions of campus culture, and I'll talk through those in a second. The results show improvements relative to the last 2 years across 4 of our 5 domains. Inclusion and diversity did not increase or decrease. The other is sense of belonging and general culture are the strongest areas, and job satisfaction continues to be biggest challenge. The domains are sense of belonging, physical work environment, job satisfaction, inclusion and diversity, and general culture. And so in all of those, other than the diversity and inclusion, which essentially stayed steady at 4, everything else increased. Again, on general culture, the areas we saw statistically significant improvements over the last 3 years where leadership in my department creates a positive work environment for me. Working relationships between faculty and staff in my department are successful, and working relationships between faculty and staff at the college in general are successful. I'm going to jump forward just to one other specific area. It's actually the areas of strength, which I thought were good to know. I mean, I think, one of the things we have to focus on is there are some things we're doing really well, but I'm going to move to the next one, the areas of improvement. Compensation is the #1 area in which we've identified as an area for improvement, opportunities for career advancement, and current practices for recruiting faculty and staff and department. Those are the top three. I can say, and we addressed this today on the all team, is over the last several years, we've continued to adjust our team members to the midpoint of their salaries. I think I want to say we've invested probably somewhere between $100,000 and $2,000 of additional dollars into salaries, in addition to the raises that we've given each year. The opportunities to advance, really looking at succession planning, as well as we implemented, I think, last year, a promotion policy which allows managers and leaders on campus to identify team members who might be in an interim role and move them into a career path, or to promote those individuals into a position in which they have been serving in an interim role, therefore bypassing the search process. So those are three areas that I think we've continued to move the needle on, but they still come up as a really important area of concern. I don't want to say concern, but an area of opportunity for the campus. And then on the KD3 goals, so each year our KDs have goals that they have to ultimately pursue. With KD3, which is really grounded in culture, we have 8 goals. I feel like I belong at LC. I feel respected and valued by my direct manager, supervisor. I feel respected and valued by my coworkers. The overall culture in my department is good. The overall culture of LC is good. I feel comfortable sharing thoughts and ideas with LC team members. The working relationships between faculty and staff in my department are successful, and the working relationships between faculty and staff at LC are successful. So, I mean, the good news is, you know, we've either held steady or we're moving in the right direction, although only 2 of those 8 goals were met between the survey last year and the survey this year, or the goal that we set for this year and the actual results. But the good news on that, I always like to try to find the good news, is, you know, we didn't like drop 40% in a certain category. Although it's important to hold steady, obviously we continue to sort of employ, we've got to get better at the work that we do. I think a reflection of the overall culture of LC is good. You know, we went up, you know, last year, this year, you know, with more respondents, perhaps, you know, that kind of sort of fleshes itself out. But, you know, I often remind the team that we are the culture. So, you know, what are we doing to contribute to making the culture better? How are we working on the relationships we have across our departments and areas? And I think as we continue to recognize our role in that, we'll continue to see those numbers improve. And then this last one, which Brad White, who I have to thank publicly on our IR side, put all this together. He does a great job working with the executive team and the leadership group each year to evaluate these data and have some good discussion around it. But there are essentially prioritizing the attributes of our culture. And so there are a number here. It's on actually page 14. Communication and transparency, compensation and fairness and consistency, work-life balance, sense of purpose and belief in the mission, relationships with coworkers, opportunities for advancement, sense of belonging, core values of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and diverse and reliable leadership. So from top to bottom, these are the attributes in which either team members ranked a 1 to 10 from least to most important. And interestingly enough, looking at the groups, our team members ages 34 and below look at work-life balance. That's where that sort of shootout is as the most important factor. Communication and transparency is the #1 factor. And interestingly enough, I reminded the team 4.5 or 5, almost 5 years ago when I first started, we did a survey of the whole campus and actually got an overwhelming response. And the #1 issue or opportunity then was communication and transparency. And I think we've improved a lot on that, and it's still a very important attribute to the campus. Compensation obviously is important, and we do struggle with that in many areas. I mean, Ron and I have had multiple conversations along with the executive team on IT and being able to attract good talent, being able to keep people. We're continuing to find ways to improve that as well. and then fairness and consistency across policies and procedures. But this is a really interesting one that I'm happy to dig into more, that just looks at the demographics of our team and how they are rating these attributes as most important to least important. So I'm going to stop there and just see if there's any questions from board members or if there's anything else you'd like me to talk to before we move on to the next item. Okay, thank you.
I would applaud you. This is Jim Eck. I would applaud you for doing this and doing it three years in a row. So you're gaining kind of a comparative trend.
Yeah.
And then just curious, then does this get also sliced down by sections? And then how do you share that back with this overall thing with the
Yeah,
staff?
so we share the whole document with the staff. So they have all of this. They get it, you know, they got it probably about a week or so ago, and then we do an all-team meeting that just focuses on the survey. So we talk through the results, and we got into a little bit more detail than I did here, but we talked through the results. And actually, we talked today a little bit about, you know, we do this survey in the early part of the year, and it closes in probably February. We opened it a little longer this year. We get the results, we evaluate the results as an executive team. We have written comments as well that we then go out and we talk with those folks. We had 12 of those comments this year. A lot of times those comments are very pointed things. So, hey, I have a concern with this, or I have a question about that. But we're also thinking now, it came up today, of maybe we, you know, do this in a little bit of a different way. Maybe we share the results a little earlier, and then for the remainder of the semester, so say between February and May, we actually start to work as a team on improving some of these things, find solutions, and then in the fall, you know, we kind of fully implement them, and then when we do the next survey, it might be a little bit more reflective of, okay, did these changes around, you know, work-life balance flesh out, or did this issue around compensation, did that get better, knowing that we put some new policies in place and, you know, adjusted team members based on longevity, I mean, things of that nature. But yeah, so our goal is to continue to find ways to improve. The other thing we're going to start next year is we're going to add benchmark data from a national level. So we'll be able to look at like colleges and compare ourselves to them. And then if we see things that are happening like at XYZ College in Idaho or something, we can say, hey, we really are impressed with what you're doing here. How did you get to that result? And then, you know, we could sort of share ideas. We also do a similar survey with our students, which you may have seen, and we're going to look at that same benchmarking data with like colleges across the country. And actually, Dr. Jackson and Brad White, I've asked them to attend the National Benchmarking Conference in June in Kansas City, where they'll come back, and then we'll be able to sort of hopefully operationalize that into our survey for next year. So.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah.
T. And then the other question, and then you probably at a senior level, do you slice it down?
Yeah, we can
And
slice it however we want.
You can analyze as a senior leadership team to see
Yep.
department by department, right?
Sure, I mean, we can slice and dice it. Yep,
Differences.
yep. So, all right, thank you. Thanks, Jim. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. T. Next is the July 1st, 2025 group insurance changes.
So Kyle? Kyle will spend about 5 minutes with us, walking us through some slides. So.
Sure. Thank you very much. My name is Kyle Knietman. I'm the employee benefit consultant for Lewis and Clark Community College from the MJ Companies. Just here to share updates on our upcoming 7/1 health and welfare renewal this year. I'll kind of run through this quickly because I know we've got a lot of agenda items. So current year in review, if you guys look at that screen, the important things to kind of take from this slide is we're running at about 96% of budget. Based on the way that we fund our claims today, we never go above 100% budget, so that basically means about 96 cents of every dollar that we pay to the healthcare company actually goes to the healthcare itself. And remember, we're getting all those network discounts. Over on the right side of the screen, not as concerned a little bit about the uptick in paid claims. We had a couple higher months, but we've seen that start to trend back downwards in January, February, March. We increased our enrollment slightly in the current plan year from the prior plan year, and we saw about a 3% increase in our member enrollment, which is one of our large items that we've talked a lot about in 2 benefit surveys that we've run in the last year. So moving on from that, we started our conversations very early this year, I think earlier than we've ever started them. We talked a lot about the pros and cons of maintaining more of a fixed way of us paying our premium, our fully insured environment versus a self-insured environment. Originally, kind of going into this, I thought it may be the year that we transition to a self-insured environment in the way that we fund our medical claims. The pros of that are a little bit more flexibility, some more detailed reporting. And some of the cons of that are the variable in month-to-month cash flow and potential for additional costs between the budget and what would be out there as far as maximum liability. So you got to take on a little bit of risk to gain a little bit of reward. So we did a full marketing, and we got a very, very attractive fully insured offer from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Not only was it a good first-year offer that would reduce the gross overall cost by over $500,000, which is really rare in this healthcare trend environment, but also for them to put a second-year rate cap on our quote as well too of 12%. So we've got a great kind of windfall this year from a cost perspective. We can maintain access to our reporting. We'll continue to work strategically throughout these 2 years, continue to talk about self-funding, because I think if we look way down on the horizon, that's where we might be in year 3. But this is a wonderful offer with a wonderful network to take advantage of for the college for the next couple of years, which will allow us to decrease employee contributions across all tiers and all plans. One of the things Dr. T and I and Gabe and the team talk about is continuing to try to make coverage for those that carry children and families more affordable. I think we're continuing to execute on that strategy, which is excellent from a talent attraction and retention standpoint. The other thing that we're doing is we've done a significant amount of one-on-one education. My firm, MJ, and together with the college's human resources team in the last year around the HSA. So we have started to see some planned migration more into the HSA program, and also to kind of dovetail on Dr. T's comment around increasing compensation. The HSA can be a wonderful way, especially for young members starting with the college, to have another avenue towards retirement. So I'm pleased to announce that the college is going to increase the HSA contribution for those in that plan by another $20 a month this year, which is a really, really great commitment from the college. This is probably going to be too hard to read. I'm happy to go through this afterwards, but this is kind of the math. So we looked at the current, we looked at the Cigna renewal. We didn't really have much to go back and negotiate on that just because the Blue Cross Blue Shield offer was so strong. We also looked at a self-funded option pretty closely where you'll see some pharmacy rebate credits, and we looked at that very closely and some other things. But really, using our internal actuary and underwriting staff, we could not underwrite out an environment where the risk-reward this year was worth going self-funding versus what Blue Cross had offered us this year, not only this year, but then with a second-year rate cap on our renewal as well. So this is the Blue Cross cost summary. Just a couple of quick things. The current on the left is Cigna. Blue Cross is there on the right. The plans are not exactly the same, but they're very, very similar. The changes there where the benefits better is in blue, a little bit less is in red. But again, overall, very, very comparable. The HSA plan, exactly the same. Dental renewal, so we are going to transition the dental as well from Cigna. We are self-funded with dental. We're going to continue to self-fund our dental program. We did see a bigger increase in the dental cost this year because of a couple of survey results. Another thing we did for team members at Lewis & Clark was my firm actually did an analysis and went backwards, and we made some claims right that were not right before by increasing the out-of-network reimbursement to a 90% usual and customary versus by, I think, possibly should not have been set at a maximum allowable charge in the previous years, given the geographic location of the college dental network participations are actually lower than medical network participations. By making the dental plan stronger, we did see an increase in cost, but overall, fantastic satisfaction for the members and the team members at Lewis and Clark. But again, that's just a small amount when we look at the overall savings that we take. So we're going to continue to self-fund the dental. We received a lot of great feedback, employee surveys about Sun Life, who was the previous dental carrier for team members. Vision, nothing to discuss here. Rate pass, plan stays the same with VSP. Long-term disability, we carry a long-term disability policy. We did get a slight increase on it from Sun Life, mostly due to demographics, but it's a very, very small policy in both volume and coverage because our plan dovetails into the state plan. So we did market it, and Sun Life continue to stay the most competitive in the market on this coverage. Also, I had mentioned we're moving the dental to Sun Life as well, which may allow us some future negotiation leverage on this piece as well. That's really all I had from a slide perspective, but really I appreciate the opportunity to continue working with Lewis and Clark. I think we've done some fantastic things in the last year. And again, super excited about the open enrollment meetings that will start next week. I think we have a lot of happy members, and I think we're doing a lot of things right by the members of the college.
Thank you, Kyle. Any questions from board members?
Just a comment. I'd really like to thank you from MJ, Human Resources, Dr. Traska, the team that worked on this. I think this is really a good deal, and you put in a lot of time and effort on it, and I think it's a win-win for everybody. So thank you for all your work.
I agree.
Thank you, Larry.
I agree. Definitely. All right. Thank you, Kyle. Next is the omnibus agenda.
It's going to be the omnibus agenda is presented for a vote. Is there any item the board would like to held out and voted on separately? If not, I will make a motion to approve the omnibus agenda.
Motion.
Second? Discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck. Ware.
Yes.
Campbell. Smith-Williams. Eilerman. Wertz.
Yes?
Trent. Griffin.
Yes. All right. Next are our action items. First up is rank and promotion committee recommendation.
Any questions on that? I mean, Dr. Sue can come up, but that's a typical one. We have a handful of faculty who are up for promotion, and through review, they're being recommended for promotion. I would also ask Mary, she will come up for B, C, and D just to explain a little bit about the resolutions, but any questions on A?
Dr. T, if I could just make a comment. I am privileged to actually take class from Professor V, so I'm going to not pronounce it. I think it's Villa Yathi. Vithathil, which is why we call her Professor V, and she goes by that. I just want to say to my fellow trustees, and while I sit in this seat, that we are really privileged to have this type of faculty, so dedicated to the students, to really our understanding, and just making it an engaging experience, interactive experience for microbiology is the class I happen to be taking, and a hands-on lab experience. It's the level of commitment and time she puts in, emails at all times, it's just, it's a testament to her candidacy, but it's also a testament to some of the instructors we have here. And I just wanted to share that as a student, reaping the rewards of some wonderful educators.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck.
Yay.
Griffin.
Yes.
Trent. Ware.
Yes.
Campbell. Smith-Williams. Eilerman. Wertz.
Yes. Motion passes.
Next is Resolution 25-3, Working Cash Transfer Education Fund.
So nice to be back at the microphone. It's been a while. Just A little bit of background on these resolutions. They're resolutions that we do each year. Every couple of years, I think I go through just a brief description. But the first one we're going to do, the Working Cash Transfer Education Fund, focuses on the fact that taxes is one of our 3 top revenues for the institution. And we're required to record those 50% in the current year and 50% in the following year. Well, the timing of these receipts that will come in, if we're lucky, we'll start to get payments at the end of June, really lags behind when we have to record the revenue. So a lot of these in this section, they're just like housekeeping things. So that resolution that's on page 108 of the board book documents approval from the trustees to make temporary transfers of funds from the working cash fund if needed to allow the college to meet cash flow needs of the education fund until such time that we actually receive the taxes.
Thank you, Mary. Do I have a motion to approve? Have a second? Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck? Trent? Campbell? Smith Williams?
Yes.
Eilerman? Wertz?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
Ware?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is Resolution 25-4, Working Cash Transfer Operations and Maintenance Fund.
Okay, Resolution 25-4 on page 109 of the board book is the same request for the routine temporary transfer of funds, but it's to the Operations and Maintenance Fund for general operations. So again, your approval is requested so that we may meet these operating claims of the district until such time as taxes are received.
Thank you, Mary. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Smith Williams?
Yes.
Eilerman?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
Next, approve employee group insurance plans effective July 1st, 2025. Oh, I'm sorry, Resolution 25-5, Annual Interfund Transfer. My apologies.
That's okay, I don't want to talk about the insurance. But as part of the fiscal year-end process, it's often necessary to make budget transfers between items in the operating funds to bring them in line with actual revenue and expenditures. As outlined in the Community College Act, these transfers cannot exceed in the aggregate 10% of the total of the fund as set forth in our final budget. This resolution seeks approval from the Board of Trustees for the college to make these year-end budget transfers as a routine part of our fiscal year closeout and audit prep steps.
Thank you, Mary. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
Eilerman?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
Trent? Ware?
Yes.
Campbell? Smith Williams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Now, approve employee group insurance plans effective July 1st, 2025.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
Ware?
Yes.
Campbell? Smith Williams?
Yes.
Eilerman?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
Trent?
Motion approved.
Next, Lewis and Clark Office License Agreement with AAIC Inc. at the N.O. Nelson campus for 2 offices.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Sorry. Okay. Eck?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
Ware?
Yes.
Campbell? Smith Williams?
Yes.
Eilerman?
Yes.
Wertz?
Yes.
Trent?
Motion approved.
MOU Agreement with Illinois Humanities.
Do I have a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck,
Yes.
Trent. Ware,
Yes.
Campbell. Smith Williams.
Yes.
Eilerman,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Griffin.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next, the memorandum of agreement with Illinois Network for Child Care Resource and Referral Agencies, subset Birth to 5 Illinois.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck,
Yes.
Griffin,
Yes.
Ware,
Yes.
Campbell. Smith Williams.
Yes.
Eilerman,
Yes.
Wertz.
Yes.
Trent.
Motion approved.
Next, Montessori Children's House Agreement.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck,
Yes.
Ware,
Yes.
Campbell. Smith Williams.
Yes.
Eilerman,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Trent. Griffin.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next, renewal of Pride Inc. LCCC Office License Agreement.
Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second? Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck,
Yes.
Campbell. Trent. Griffin. Ware,
Yes.
Smith Williams.
Yes.
Eilerman,
Yes.
Wertz.
Yes. Motion approved.
Next, renewal of Riverbend Growth Association LCCC Office License Agreement.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a discussion? Please call the roll.
Eck,
Yes.
Griffin,
Yes.
Eilerman,
Yes.
Wertz,
Yes.
Trent. Ware,
Yes.
Campbell. Smith Williams.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next, information items.
So as I typically will do, if there are any questions on these, let us know. I did ask Dr. Artis to come up, particularly on D and E, particularly for the newer board members, so you get a sense of what that information is and how we continue to update it. Thank you.
Yeah, so we are, as you guys know, and new information for some of you, we're getting ready to go through the main complex renovation. A lot of activity is taking place. As you can see in the board item, just this month, we had 2 meetings on campus with Hastings and Shavetta, along with a number of different Zoom sessions. They are going to be here next month, so we are planning to share with our team. Our interiors meeting, I think, was probably the most exciting meeting, just the visual representation of everything they're planning to do into our interior spaces. So we're going to share that with the team on Friday during an all-team Zoom session, and then Hastings and Shavetta is going to be here June 17th, I believe is the board meeting, and we'll share that with all of you as well, and hopefully just kind of build some momentum at the end of the semester as our faculty leave for the summer. What else is happening? We're still moving some of the building occupants out, and we are really working on getting this, the roofing project has to be out to bid before the abatement phase can begin. And so there's just a lot of moving parts. We've got to do some selective demo so that the engineers can get between the floors and start to look at some of the structural things that may not be evident to them. So lots of moving parts. Everyone's on board though, and we're moving full steam ahead. Just real quickly, the deferred maintenance update. That is everything else that is happening on campus right now, along with, of course, any emergencies that might pop up from time to time. But we just want to keep the board updated on projects that have been funded or approved by the board. And I believe Dr. Trask had asked me today, we have that 5-year, that priority map of deferred maintenance projects. So we'll get that to you guys before the June board meeting or retreat, so you guys can kind of see where we are and maybe celebrate some progress made this past year on some of those items. So, any questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, leadership team reports.
Yeah, so I'm going to just run through a quick list. So this last week, I have to thank the team again publicly. We had a competency-based ed summit that we hosted for the state. which went really well, and special thanks to Chris McLaughlin, Ron, Sue, who stayed late many a nights, but the final night just to get the technology piece set. But we had over 100 folks from across the state participate, and we're hoping to make this an annual summit. We partnered with Parkland College, John A. Logan, and Shawnee. Those are 3 other presidents there, Tim Taylor, Pam Lau, and Kirk Overstreet, are leading a CBE team across the state, and we've made a tremendous amount of progress. So we hosted that like April 30th, and then last week we had our State of Trailblazer Nation update, as well as the AI Summit, which we hope to continue to offer. We're thinking about perhaps spreading some of these things out, though, so maybe the AI Summit becomes sort of an annual innovation summit that is hosted during our in-service week in August, and the theme would really be related to whatever the focus is that year. Then last Thursday, we actually had our annual strategic planning refresh. We had about 40 team members over at National Great Rivers Research Education Center, where we really stepped back and looked at ways to refine and sort of refocus some of our strategy as we look at stronger collaboration and momentum moving into this next year. What you'll see as a board is I'll walk through all of that with you in June at our retreat, and then ask in July that we re-up the strategic plan as we do on an annual year, so it becomes a 3-year rolling plan. And then, of course, next Wednesday is graduation at 6 p.m., and you know, this has been a remarkable semester. We continue to move the needle on a lot of things, and we're just looking forward to continuing that momentum through the summer to tee up for what I know is going to be another great academic year starting in August. But thank you, everyone, and any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. T. Next, adjourn open session.
Do I have a motion to adjourn to closed session regarding appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Eck,
Yes.
Ware,
Yes.
Trent, Griffin,
Yes.
Campbell, Smith Williams,
Yes.
Eilerman,
Yes.
Wertz.
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.